Hi, today I want to answer a question that a dear friend recently asked me. She asked me, Baldeep, how did you decide to quit this stable career, a stable job, and start on your own? And honestly, I don't think it was a decision. When I think back, it was probably a series of events that gently and sometimes not so gently pushed me into my path. If I go back to around 2019, I was at one of the lowest point in terms of motivation for my work. Projects didn't excite me, the work didn't inspire me, but it was the job that I knew. That was all I knew back then. So for me, earning money meant having a job. That was the only reality I had accepted. I never imagined that something I love could become something I live off. But, but now, when I look back, there were signs like process shutting down, roles not working out. After years of stability, like my first job was 9 years, and then 3 years, almost 3 years in another job. Suddenly, my last few jobs just lasted for a few months, and clearly something wasn't aligning anymore. But at that time, I didn't see it as alignment. I saw it as uncertainty. Eventually, I decided to quit and take a sabbatical. And very quickly, I realized doing nothing isn't for me. That's not my best bet. I needed to create, I needed to contribute, I needed to pursue something at least to keep myself busy. And that's when I started spending some time at my friend's office in WeWork. And one random day, one random conversation changed everything. Someone at WeWork asked me, hey Baldeep, do you know anyone who does Reiki? And I smiled and I said, oh, actually, I do. That moment was the first door opening. I was offered to conduct a session for WeWork members. And trust me when I say that I had never done something like that before in that format. I had conducted workshop, I was doing Reiki healing consultation, but nothing of that sort. But I said yes anyways. Not because I had a plan, but because it felt natural. Then something interesting happened. Another interesting event. After one of our session, which I was conducting at WeWork, a man walks in, completely new to healing and energy work. He saw people lying down with crystals on their body and asked me, "Hey, what is happening here?" And we casually spoke, and he asked me if he can get a one-on-one session. And in my head, I thought, I've never done that before. But I still said, yes, we can do a one on one session. And that yes changed everything. That session was powerful, not just for him, it was powerful for me as well. He experienced something he couldn't explain or put it in his words. And then he said something that stayed with me. He said, Baldeep, your work is powerful. You should do this for your living and please do not go back to job. Many will benefit from your work. And at that time, I didn't fully believe it because my conditioning, my mindset said real work is a job. But something inside me, I feel, had already started shifting back then. So over the time we stayed connected, he later invited me to do a Q&A session on healing. He invited people to come and listen to the Q&A session. People came, asked questions, and I remember feeling something very clearly back then. I remember that day so clearly. I remember thinking, I love talking about healing. It didn't feel like work. It didn't feel like stress. It just felt like me. And then in December 2019, he said something again, which was my turning point. He said, Baldeep, you need to do healing full time. This is your path. The world needs this. Not my words, but his words, are words from stranger who experienced healing for the first time. Now here's the important part. This wasn't a blind leap. This stranger, who is now my dear friend and a mentor today, came from a financial background. So he helped me access my risk. We looked into the numbers, savings, sustainability, and for the first time, this didn't feel like a fantasy. It felt like a possibility. So, if you ask me today, Haldeep, how did you decide? Honestly, I didn't. I just listened. I listened to the sign. I paid attention to the opportunities. I said yes to the opportunities. I listened to the people who saw something in me before I could see it myself. And most importantly, I kept saying yes. Even when I wasn't fully ready, I wasn't fully sure, because sometimes your purpose doesn't come as a clear decision, it reveals itself, one aligned step at a time. If you're in a space where you feel stuck or unsure, maybe you don't need to have it all figured out yet. Maybe you just need to notice, what is life trying to show you right now? Just pay attention to the signs and let it reveal to you. I hope this was helpful. I hope I answered my friend's question. Thank you for listening to me.